Hi, today it's going to be about the Agile Release Train. Hi, my name is John Behrens and today I'm going to speak about Release Train, or as it names in SAFe, Agile Release Train. What is this Agile Release Train? Maybe you heard of it, maybe you heard people who had a position as a Release Train engineer, but what does it actually mean? And the term Release Train, I just researched it, and Martin Fowler named on Twitter, the concept itself is not invented, it was existing before SAFe, but it's mainly known for being part of the proprietary SAFe framework, Scaled Agile Framework. What is the main definition of the Release Train? Release Train has a cycle, like a timetable, where it's going to release, and usually that are like 2 weeks iterations, and in SAFe you also have a longer planning. And on that release train, certain teams work on the same part of software or same part of a product and release within that cycle. You can imagine of it like a real train, and the real train has a timetable when he is stopping where, and people can get stuff on the train. Could be persons, or could be even like containers, and at some other point it's getting off. The train is riding anywhere, so the train will not stop because somebody is late, and the train will not start earlier because somebody wants him to start early. And the same concept applies to the Agile Release Train. So you have a defined cadence, this 2-week cadence, and the Agile Release Train brings it release every 2 weeks. Now within SAFe there's certain mechanics which making the teams enabled to coordinate themselves to bring the best on the Agile Release Train. For example, they have the PI planning, program iteration planning, which is usually 8 to 10 weeks, and they usually work in sprints, which are 2 weeks. So the teams are coordinating what to put on this Agile Release Train, and the teams are not coordinating when to release something and putting packets together, because this release train is always traveling and always traveling at the same cadence. So it's reducing the effort of planning releases. Releases will be done by timetable anyway. Everything they have to discuss is what will be part of that release. There are different approaches applying to this Agile Release Train. One is the table is fixed, the schedule is fixed, and it's synchronized with everybody who's delivering into that train. The next one is the people are dedicated working inside that Agile Release Train. That means they are not like 20% people who are 20% there and 80% in 5 other projects. Everyone is dedicated. That is of course the optimal world, and I saw in a lot of enterprise companies it's hard to get dedicated people into a project, because those enterprise companies are sometimes afraid that they might need it somewhere else. And that will result in harder coordination, because you will have more overhead, or more percentual more overhead, if they don't work full-time on that release train. And even it's harder to get the resources together and to coordinate it. So the best thing is everybody on that release train is fully dedicated to it 100% on no other projects. The next core concept is the cadence systems increment. So within that release train, they're going to be an increment of the system or the product you're going to build, for example, every 2 weeks, which is the usual approach. So within SAFe, also the velocity of the Agile Release Train is tracked. That means you can actually have some metrics and see how much the Agile Release Train is producing. In the real world, for me, it's a difficult scenario, because you need to get the right metrics, and mostly people stack into story points and concentrate too much on the right tracking and tracking the velocity and reporting it, and it's not so much on customer satisfaction and actually getting or seeing the result and learning from the result. So for me in real world this has been in some points abused or being misleading, but for SAFe, it's part of SAFe. If you going to apply it within your organizations, take care, it's really helping you improving customer satisfaction and improving better product, and not just bureaucracy for tracking stuff. That's the reason why you need to take care of release train velocity and velocity tracking also for your Scrum teams. If you're going to split down your organization into release trains, I give you one recommendation. You will not be able to know everything in advance. So take care, make the best decision possible, and then if needed, adapt from it, and maybe later you can split a release train or you can put them together. But yeah, you don't need to build it for like the next 10 years, maybe do it for the next year or next half year, and then it's a lot easier to split it down and to see actually the results. And don't forget to learn, so get feedback. You're gonna have retrospectives with your release train. You can make like a whole release train retrospective and learn from the results so you can adapt and change it later. If you are a small organization having one product, it's not that difficult. You mostly will have only one Agile release train. But if you're a larger organization, it will be more difficult to split it down into different Agile release trains. And for that one, there's a rule how to do it. And it says you should organize the Agile release train around values. So Agile release train should be a team's part or part of product which is actually delivering value to a customer. For example, if you have a really large platform, let's name Facebook, one Agile release train or one value area could be the Facebook ads, or even deeper Facebook ads reporting. If you have smaller organizations, you might be only have one Agile release train, but the concept stays the same. So you don't coordinate release times, you don't coordinate when to release and who is going to put something in. You create the schedule of the train, which has cadence, and you make the teams putting their stuff into the train, like putting a container on a train which is traveling anyway, or stepping into the train at the station. So finally I can say release train is a very good concept if you work with multiple teams on one product and try to synchronize them and reduce your planning effort and coordinate your planning effort better. You can blow it up to the safe concept, having everything apart and having it also as an organizational pattern. But you can also use part of it. The most important is like the cadence, and multiple teams applied to the cadence of the release train. That was my talk about the Agile Release Train. If you want to have more talks about Agile topics and even about coding topics, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you have more questions about Agile, just put it into the comments and maybe I'm gonna answer them in the next video. And now I'm gonna look a bit around Copenhagen. Today I'm here in the city and I really like it. Next to me people are going to swim. It's November now and I think water is like 12 degrees. And I'm a bit jealous because I didn't bring a towel because I like swimming as well.